to another episode of On the Record, and I am your host, Dennis Morrison. Home audio recording has been around for a very long time now. It has allowed us to preserve precious memories at a very personal level for us to reflect upon in later years. In the 1940s, there were two formats available for home use, but they were pricey. There were machines to cut your own discs, and there were wire recorders, and I've never owned a disc cutter, but I have owned wire recorders before. Very unique and fascinating machines. Well, a couple of days ago, I was back into records and tapes galore here in Saginaw, and hands down, it's the best vintage vinyl store you're going to find anywhere in the Milky Way galaxy, and I mean that. And they had an amazing box full of awesome kids records from about 1941 to 1949. And it seems like Bill and Judy are always on the lookout for unique pieces for my collection. And this time they had some real treasures. I mean, real treasures. The greatest treasure for me were 5 7-inch, 78 RPM home cut discs. And before I proceed, I want to show these to you. This one was actually done at a vending type machine where you would go into a telephone booth type thing, and you'd plop in, I believe it was 35 cents, and you could cut your own record. And so this is one of those. It's done on a fiberboard with some kind of plastic laminate over it. Condition, it's cracked somewhat because of shrinkage, but I was able to play it, and I'm going to present that to you a little bit later on in the program. And then the other ones were ones that were actually done at home, and they were done on a sturdier silver tone disc with very nice. They're done on an aluminum base with an acetate overlay layer. So these ones held up better than the ones on the fiberboard, in my experience anyways. So in a very real way, Bill and Judy at Records and Tapes Galore helped me preserve yesterday for all of us. So the 4 discs were, as I showed you just now, silver tone, and one was red record Recordio. And I had kind of gotten ahead of myself, but I could not wait to get those home on that day and discover what was hidden in those old grooves. And I was enchanted by what I would find, to be sure. I was not sure the red disc would even play, as I showed you, there's crazing, small age cracks in the shellac surface, but play it did, and as did the others. But the sound quality varies a lot, though I tried to clean up the sound as best I could. Now each disc is dated between 1946 and 1949. Now I set the first disc on the turntable and gently set the needle down, and a young boy's voice with a slight speech impediment began, "My name is Walter Boehringer, and I am 9 years old." 4 sides are sort of journals of various days in little Walter's life. To me, they are nothing less than totally amazing. They are a short trip back to the 1940s. In just a bit, I'm going to play those for you. But keep in mind, these were made some 75 years ago, so you can't expect great sound quality. The materials used in their fabrication degrades even under the best storage conditions, and you'll get, they display varying degrees of this degradation, little dimples and things that appear in the acetate. But make no mistake, they are still precious moments, and they are so fast fleeting out there. But there are a lot of them out there yet, just waiting to be found and listened to again. Now, these discs were found inserted in with another record set. Packed into one large cord box that held these was a fine collection of children's records, again, all from the 1941 through 1949 era. And it stands to reason that these records were probably part of young Walter's collection. In upcoming episodes, we're going to take a look and listen to some of those. Some of them are awesome cool. And I will house them together as a single collection in Walter's name. So let's check out disc 1. Again, it's dated May 18th, 1946. This was a Sunday, and Walter is telling about how every Sunday at 4 p.m. his daddy takes him to the YMCA for a swim, and goes on to tell about getting the locker key and the cold and warm shower before diving into the warm swimming pool. So the first disc runs about 1 minute and 36 seconds. Actually, they all run about the same amount of time. So let's check out disc 1 here.
It is May 18, 1946. My name is Walter Merringer. I live in Saginaw, Michigan. I go to Harry School. I am in second grade. I will tell you about going swimming. Every Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock, my daddy takes me swimming. First we go into the land to get up hard, and I always find it. And then we go downstairs and give the boy the hard, and he will give us the key. Then we go into the locker. We get undressed. After we get undressed, we go into the shower room. First we take a warm shower and then a cold shower. And then the swimming pool is warm. I have only swum across halfway across the pool. I will now read for you. I saw a great big fish swimming in the sea. I saw the great big fish, but he did not see me. With a pole and a whip, I soon found me.
Now, for some reason, the sound quality improves with each disc. The next disc is dated January 24th, 1948, and Walter describes his day with friends at Saginaw's Hoyt Park. Always been a fine place for great winter sledding and skating, and Walter talks about the warming house and other small details, and this disc runs the same, about 1 minute and 35 seconds. I used to occasionally, my mom and dad would load us into the car in Bridgeport and take us into Saginaw. Here it's only about a 15-mile drive, and we go sledding at Hoyt Park, and boy, it was a blast. And I guess it was a blast for kids for many, many generations. So let's take a listen to Walter at Hoyt Park, or about Hoyt Park. Here we go.
The day is June the 7th, 1947. My name is Walter Merringer. I live in 111 North Henry Street. I go to Henry School. I am in the 3rd grade. My sister's name is Miss School. Now I will tell you about going swimming. Every Sunday at 4 o'clock, I go down to the YMCA. First, I get off my daddy's card. Then we go down and I give it to the boy. After that, we go into the locker room and undress. Then we go into the shower room. We take a hot and cold shower. Then we go into the swimming pool and I put the hard on the legs. Then I jump in. After that, I swam all the way across the pool. Then my daddy wanted me to jump off the high dive, so I did. And I jumped right in the middle and swam to the side. Now I will tell you about ferry boats. The ferry boats carry cars and passengers. You pay
I think disc 4, which is up next, is my favorite. This is dated May 22nd, 1948, and Walter describes a wonderful precocious incident with a friend of his. And they crawled into a Saginaw radio station window, flipped on a microphone so that it was broadcasting, and they were almost caught, but when a man entered the room, but hid behind a closet door. And I would assume the radio station was likely WSAM. And as with the other discs, this runs just shy of 2 minutes. Oh, and if you notice my numbering, I skipped a disc as the audio was just too poor to clean up the play. But let's take a listen about the radio station. And here we go.
My name is Walter Merringer. The date is May 22nd, 1948. I live on 111 North Andrew Street in Saginaw, Michigan. I am 9 years old. I am in the 4th grade in Hamden School. My teacher's name is Miss Underwood. I will tell you about Teddy and I. One day, Teddy snuck into a window in the radio station. And when he got in there, he saw a microphone. And it was all set to go, except the switch was not on. So he turned it on. And then he saw a man come in. So he hid behind the closet door, and the man turned the microphone off. Then he said his speech without even having anybody hear it. Alden Baker stood under the purple beech tree on his lawn. The day was hot and hazy, and the wind worried with its long flight from the south
I just love that short little account. And finally we come to disc 5. It's the red disc that I told you about, and the sound quality is fair. It is dated 1949, and rather than telling about his day, Walter tells 2 little stories, one of which features Briar Rabbit. And I notice over the course of the record, Walter's voice impediment seems to get better. And I wonder if his parents used the records so that the boy could hear himself and try to improve. So let's take a listen to disc 5.
Once upon a time ago, there lived a very old man. His name was Mr. Jim. He liked to read books, and it happened that his birthday was coming very soon. Now this man named Jim, he only had 10 books to read, and he finished them in all one day because he liked to read the books so. So, when all the people came, they all gave him money, and Jim bought himself 100 books.
He's now going to tell you another story.
Once upon a time, there was a rabbit named Brer Rabbit. This Brer Rabbit is a funny little Brer Rabbit, and he went into the woods one day and he said, "I will get a quota." So he did, and he got away without anything to do. My name is Walter Merringer. Today is January the 8th. I am here in Ann Arbor. I am talking up.
Walter lived at 111 North Andrews Street, not far from where Westchester Village currently is here in Saginaw. And he went to Hanley School, which was a very good special education center, likely due to his speech. And his teacher's name was Miss Underwood, or Mrs. Underwood. There was another teacher mentioned, but I couldn't make out what his or her name was. But I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Little glimpses like this are just nothing less than rare and pleasant little hops back to the past. Next episode, we're going to look at, as I said, some of the children's records that were in Walter's collection, and I'll tell you what, some of them are awesome. You know what? I'm going to walk away, something I shouldn't do, but I'm going to grab something to show you real quick. And stay with me, folks. Stay with me. Okay, I don't like walking off camera. I should have had these here, but I hadn't planned on doing this. And with those is a small record catalog from Decca Records of children's records. And this is something you don't see very often. This was tucked inside. Also, a wonderful little 7-inch picture disc. A little town of Bethlehem on one side and the first Noel on the other. Wonderful. This one I'm really excited about. This has 6 look and listen picture books. I found the copyright date. I believe these were 1942 or that era. And there are 6 stories in here. There's Alice in Wonderland, Little Black Sambo, which I probably won't be able to do, thanks to the woke generation. The 3 Little Pigs, Myrtle the Turtle, Cinderella, and Little Red Riding Hood. And this actually is the set in which those discs of Walter were tucked into. And then they're just all sort of wonderful things. Melodyland record book, and this has several records in the back, and as you follow along, this needs some repair, but it has a disc on the side here where you can move parts of the picture and the text, and so that you can read along with the records. There's also, now these are so cool. I love the artwork on these. The gingerbread man, or gingerbread boy, excuse me. Nice set there. Again, it's got the book in it, as does this second version of Little Black Sambo, which again, unfortunately, because of the woke generation, I cannot probably play for you and get away with it. But it has a nice, nicely illustrated book inside of it, and a real nice record in the back. How about Bing Crosby and Orson Welles reading The Happy Prince? And then there's also on this one, The Story of the Small One by Bing Crosby alone. Herbert Marshall and The Snow Goose. I listened to this one the other day. Wonderfully done, wonderfully preserved. And this is a pack of kids' records. There's a bunch of them in there. Musicraft children's records. And so and there's more. That's only a few. So we're going to look at some of those next time and listen to some of them. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, I appreciate y'all. God bless you, love you, and God willing, God willing, I'll see y'all very soon.